kids that he can get out there immediately after he's graduated, put up a table, put up a desk, and start production, start manufacturing, and start getting involved in the maintenance and other skills that are required with the within the industry. And when we also are linking them with the financing, then they can also spur the manufacturing growth even faster. So we are calling upon our development partners to start getting involved with us in this thinking. Because if we are going now to train our TVETs who already have hands on their, have skills in their hands, to now go looking for jobs, we are not helping our youth in this country. We'll still continue having the youth unemployment gap. But if we give them startups, if we link them to financing mechanisms, then they can employ themselves immediately they graduate and start employing others, and in the process reduce the gap. The other, of course, in quality training is our focus now on CBET. And I just want to reiterate that CBET is industry-centered, it is flexible, and it is outcome-based instructional method for the world of skills. CBET requires that we work with the industry. And that is why I found it very important to be part of the Kam agenda this morning, because we want now to see the industry coming more on board. We really wish to appreciate that the industry has been very proactive in providing the internships and the attachments that we required and that are required by our graduate trainees. But now CBET requires a 50-50% training, where our trainees, 50% will be in our technical training institutions and 50% will be in the industry. I really need you as the industry to continue holding the CBET, together with us at the ministry, so that we are able to fulfill this. And within, therefore, this CBET, we are now envisioning, and this morning there's been a breakfast meeting where as policy makers, we have been deliberating in terms of a new policy that is going to come up on dual training or corporate training. We have met as policy makers this morning. We now want to roll out the dual training, the development and implementation of the dual training policy. We want to appreciate GIZ for spearheading this particular initiative. We already have had a field study tour in Germany, which actually happened last week. Already we are piloting with the Dika Training Institute, where we are now focusing on automotive engineering within the dual setup. We already are working with the Kiambu Institute of Science and Technology that is focusing on industrial mechanotronics on dual training. And we also have already started piloting this dual training with Nairobi Technical Training Institute, where we are focusing on automotive mechanotronics. Now, this is a drop in the ocean relative to the skills demand in the industry. Already, this dual training, this corporate training is bearing much fruit for those we have already put on board. But with 238 institutions that we already have, and as we even build more, we'll now call more on the industry to be able to uptake this and socialize and develop our youth so that they have the skills you require as an industry as we impart them in our institutions, the technology and the pedagogy that they will require. So this is how we shall synergize with the industry to ensure that the skills development for the future is able to be responsive and is also industry driven. We also expected to ensure relevance of skills to market and industry demand. And in view of this, we are now trying to roll out a skills demand study. We are also doing tracer studies to see whether our graduates are actually meeting your demands, but also we want to see which of these skills we have over trained, those that we are under training, and those which we are not training. So as we roll out this, we shall require the industry now to give us that feedback so that we can train together. And I believe when this is done, will also help in reducing the non-employment gap, because we'll no longer train for those to miss jobs because there is so many of them, but we'll be able to be training based on what the industry requires. And in the process, we'll also help in terms of ensuring that we are also not misusing the government resources, because there is no need of investing so much and saying we are training, and now we are saying we are over 400, rather over 200, and yet they cannot get jobs because maybe we have trained so much in one sector and there's another sector that is also lacking. So this is the kind of study that we want to roll out, and we also wish to call on our partners with the possibility of them getting on board. But also in ensuring relevance of skills to market and the industry, we are also developing our TVET institutions to centers of excellency. We've identified the strengths, again, based on the catchment area and also the kind of trainers, the equipments that they have, to ensure that we make them centers of excellence, then we invest in them so that they are within the trend, the industry trend, but also ahead of the industry. Those we've currently identified and we've started working on them is, for example, the Kenya Coast National Polytechnic, which we are now developing it as a center of excellency for seafarers and the blue economy. We have the Kisumu National Polytechnic, which we also now are developing it to now become a center of excellence for textile technology. Then we have the Meru National Polytechnic, which we are also now trying to develop to become a center of excellence for building and civil. Others, of course, is Ramogi Institute of Advanced Technology, which we are also trying to make it a center of excellence for aquaculture.